meanings, right? The context. So how can you make the systems understand the context? So the words are same but different meanings they have. So then homonyms. So the language, so it's possible that the language contains homonyms. I'm referring to English only because it's like all of us can understand. So it's the same with all the languages, all the national languages, right? So like homonyms. What are homonyms? Homonyms means this problem occurs when we are working with speech. So maybe if you observe here, there and there. So when we talk, so then in the speech, both the words will be pronounced the same way. But how can we differentiate such words in speech? Of course, in writing it's different. But when we utter the words, then there and there, we pronounce it the same when we talk continuously. Is it not? So then in that case, how can we differentiate such kind of words? The words which are pronounced with the same sound, such kind of words we call it as homonyms. And of course, that introduces a lot of ambiguity, or you need to handle that differently. So while developing the models, you have to handle these issues. So that's about the homonyms. So there we have ambiguity and polysemy. So polysemy means, so a word could have several meanings. So when we are working with the languages, the same word we are using, but it is having different meanings. So I have quoted some example. I saw her at the bank. So unless you have the previous sentences or the following sentences, you cannot understand whether you have seen the person at the bank. Means the bank is a financial bank, or otherwise it's a river bank. We cannot understand that, right? And also here you can observe, I am very much comfortable with the chair. Maybe that's the sentence I am saying, but the chair is referring to the chair I am sitting, the furniture, or otherwise the conference chair. Is it not? That's a problem. So this kind of words which can have different meanings, we call them as a polysemy. So when your sentences, or when you are working with the natural languages, these are all the problems you need to consider. So then the most important thing, so very difficult to handle, is the irony and sarcasm. So it is possible that when we are dealing with the natural languages, so there will be something like irony and sarcasm when we talk. So consider here great and the flat tide. So can I consider the word great as positive or negative meaning here? Unless you see the remaining words, you cannot understand. You cannot treat the word great as a positive word. Is it not? So if you consider only adjectives while doing the classification task, then it would be a problem. Is it not? So that results in a lot of problem when you are developing your natural language processing applications. Maybe you are talking in sarcasm, right? Or maybe here you can see, my day is going great, thanks. So that is what the signal uttered, like when she uttered the words, that is what she said. But unless you have the image, that is why I pasted the image also. Unless you see the image, you cannot understand. If you listen to the voice, or if you look at the text only, you cannot understand what is the problem. Whether it is spoken in sarcasm or it's a positive meaning, we cannot understand that. So my day is going great, thanks. That's what she said. Unless you have the image, can you understand that it's a problematic situation, right? How to deal with these kind of situations? So if you would like to handle both images and text, then again, so multimodal algorithms need to come into picture, right? Which makes the things much more complex. So this is another challenge you need to face. And code switching. It's like we are humans and we can speak multiple languages, we can understand multiple languages. So we tend to switch between languages. Is it not? So here I have shown some example. Guntur to Hyderabad distance. Kitna hai? Kitna? So something like that, right? Yeah. So I'm using English and also Telugu, and I'm writing that in English. Can you see that? And while chatting with our friends, how do we do that? We don't type it in Urdu or Telugu or whatever the mother tongue, right? So we type it in English. Is it not? Yeah. So that is how we communicate. Then how the models can understand that. So based on that kind of text only, I would like to develop the applications. So if you consider the triage of incoming messages, what is the triage of incoming messages? You would like to give some priority to the messages based on the context. Is it not? So then if it is having such kind of text, then how the models can understand that? So that's the problem. So do you see the challenges, how many challenges that are coming into? So we people know several languages, so we can switch between languages. So here I am showing just 2 languages. There are people who can switch with 7 different languages and all. Then how to handle all these issues when we are developing the models. Yeah. So then bias training and domain adaptation. So maybe I don't know whether you have heard it or not. So there is a kind of NLP based application that has been used for recruiting the people. So in USA everything is automated nowadays. Is it not? Of course we are also seeing the automation. To some extent it is less here. But if you observe in US and all, nowadays the recruitment is done, at least the first level it is done mostly automation. They are relying on automation. So they have developed one system, one automation system for the recruitment. So you know what happened? So they have, of course, all these machine learning and the deep learning algorithms, after all they work on the data, the prior data only. And they have used all the prior data of their employees and then they train the models. Then what happened was, most of the people, like the persons who were, they're all males. So earlier the female population working was very less, is it not? Right? So then what this algorithm is doing is, so it is neglecting all the female applicants' resumes. That was a problem they identified later. So after few days of usage of the application, they have identified the situation. So what is it doing? So it's simply neglecting, rejecting all the applications that are submitted by female people. So it's recruiting. It's proposing only the male person's applications. Is it biased or not? Right? So gender bias or religion bias or language bias. So all these come into picture when you are dealing with these models. Then how to overcome this biasness and all. So your natural language processing algorithms are also biased. They suffer from bias. And biasness comes into picture depends on the data you are using for training. That's a problem, right? So unless you have training data related to all the different situations, so your algorithms will be biased. So maybe though I ensure that there are different kinds of training data, all the training data examples are it's like distributed equally. So though I ensure that maybe a new kind of the new kind of test sample comes into picture, then how to handle that? That's a difficult situation. So then how to handle these kind of challenges in my algorithms, and of course the domain adaptation. So means maybe my algorithm is trained on the data on so I have developed a natural language processing algorithm which is related to the medical imaging. So then I would like to adapt that to a particular disease, or maybe for sentiment analysis I would like to use that. Then how can I do that? So what we can do is we have to train the algorithm on the target language again, but how to handle the situation. So that's again different. So like we have to handle these challenges. That's what the domain adaptation is. Make your systems adaptable to your domain. So the target domain. So that's what the domain adaptation. So this is again another challenge of the models you are going to develop in NLP. So then co-reference and common sense. So what is this co-reference? So co-reference means, consider this example. The car hit the tree and it was damaged. Here the word it refers to, whether it refers to, please read that sentence then you can understand. The car hit the tree and it was damaged. What was damaged? Whether the car was damaged or the tree was damaged. Of course we humans can easily understand. But can the machines understand? They don't have any common sense, right? So after all, they are the dumb machines. Depending on the data you are giving for training, they can give some predictions. That's it. They cannot do more than that. So then how can they understand? So when we read, we can easily understand. So like it's not the tree and it's the car. So maybe even for us also it's complicated to understand. Maybe the tree is very small and the tree fell down, something like that. That situation, how to handle that situation. So then the word it refers to what? Whether it refers to the word tree or it refers to the car. What was it? That's what the co-referencing is. Yeah. So the machines do not have any common sense. Then how can they handle it? So maybe consider a situation where we are asking the question like, can a cat fly? That's a question we are asking the system. But your natural language processing system may answer may struggle to answer that. So we humans can understand. I haven't passed any training data related to that, right? So maybe something like, I have given a lot of data related to the animals and all, but these kind of flying related data I haven't given. So we can easily say that it cannot fly. But, so the machines struggle to do that, to understand, because they don't have any common sense. They are dumb idiots. Whatever you ask, you train on them. So they do only that limited job. They cannot go beyond. So this is another problem. And yeah, just to make you understand, actually, I think that there is some problem with the text, I think conversion problem. Actually, these are the sentences I have taken from Google Translator. Yesterday itself I have given some words to Google Translator, and then I try to translate from, English to Telugu. Actually, it has given normally, like, if you can read Telugu, you can see Tataku cancer. Actually, it has provided correct, but so I think while translating into like PDF conversion or my mobile problem, something like that. So Tata cancer to బాధపడుతూ bucket ను తన్నాడు. What is the actual sentence? The source language sentence. The grandfather kicked the bucket after suffering from cancer. What is the actual meaning of that? Grandfather passed away, right? Actually, but what Google Translator is saying, bucket ను తన్నాడు. So it cannot go beyond that. That's the problem. And the job is a piece of cake. It's very easy for me, right? Giving a lecture is easy for me. That's what I'm saying. But what is it saying? Udyogam, yeah. Udyogam of cake mukka. Can you see that? How is it doing? Right? Put the sweater on. Sweater no? Pettandi. Put the sweater means wear the sweater, right? Yeah. But it's saying, like, it doesn't have a common sense, the structure of the language at all. Is it not? So that is the current status of our NLP algorithms. We can understand, like, where we are now and where to grow, right? Yeah. He is a dark horse of the match. At the match, we chikati guru. Can you see that? How bad they are, right? Yeah. So like, he is very good in the match. That's what the meaning of it, right? Kohli has done a great job in the World Cup. So that's what I wanted to say. But it's saying that, so it's like, yeah. So it's what we say in Telugu, makki ki makki. So that is what it is doing, right? Yeah, that's the problem. That is the current status of, current status of our natural language processing algorithms, and from there we have to take it forward, and there is like lot of scope for us to do the research in these areas. So the reason, like the motivation and the challenges I have shown here, yeah. So maybe one algorithm I would like to show, and like another challenge, multimodal systems. There is a requirement to work with multiple modalities, not only with single modality. So the application I'm showing is like OCR, MT and TTS. So what is its meaning is, OCR is optical character recognition, MT is machine translation, and TTS is a text-to-speech synthesis. Text-to-speech, TTS stands for. So that all these together we are doing a single application. Here if you observe in that yellow box, so whatever is that in the yellow box, so that we are going to convert that into speech. That's what the application. That's actually given as an image. That should be, converted to speech. So that's what the application is. So then, what are all the different things you are doing there? First, you need to run on optical character recognition algorithm, which can recognize the characters that are there in the image. Then that should be, converted. And I would like to get the speech in not in English, maybe in Urdu I would like to get. Then what do I need to do? I need to convert that into Urdu language first, from English to Urdu. So then there's like machine translation is required. First of all, I have run an algorithm related to the optical character recognition, then a machine translation algorithm. Then after that, so it is translated by machine translation in Urdu language, in text, right? Not in speech. Again, I need to use a text-to-speech synthesis, where so the Urdu text is translated, is converted, is synthesized to the speech. So when we convert to text to speech, we call it as synthesized speech. So these are all the different algorithms we are using in the same application, and that's what we call it as multimodality. So this is also working with a single modality is so is completely kind of so outdated. So nowadays the days are into multimodality systems. So maybe the challenges, one more challenge I would like to show here. So here it's very difficult for us to understand whether the name is referring to the person, or it is related to the organization, or it is related to the entity or place, what it is. It's very difficult to understand, right? Yeah. Here I am showing something like Michael Dell is the CEO of Dell Computer Corporation and lives in Austin, Texas. So usually we can see some persons with the name Austin. Is it not? Right? Yeah. So whether Austin refers to the person or the place. So it's challenge to understand. Again, the same sentence contains two words, Dell itself, but one place it refers to the person and the other place it refers to the organization. Then these are all the complexities, these are all the challenges when we are working with the text. And maybe when we are working with a question and answer session, we are developing like chatbot, which is related to the question and answers. Then if you provide the text, so straight away answers it can easily give. Say for example, I have given all the president's information, US president's related information to my chatbot, all the text. Then when I asked, when was Barack Obama born? That question, it answered decently, August 4, 1961. Then I asked something like, who was President Barack Obama? When was President Barack Obama, who was President Barack Obama was born? John F. Kennedy. Of course, it was straight there in the text, so it could do a fantastic job. But, so when the moment I asked the question like, how many presidents have been there before, since Barack Obama was born? That question, it was not a straight question. It has to do some analysis. We humans can understand easily, right? When we refer to the text, we can easily understand. We can compute that and we can say that. But our models cannot do that. They fail in doing that. That's the problem. So these are all the problems that we face when we are developing these NLP applications. Yeah. So now, we understood what natural language processing is, what are different, so what are the various applications, the motivation, so why do we do the natural language processing, research in the natural language processing, or why do we need to focus on developing the application related to the natural language processing. So then I have given what are the challenges. So is it like a cakewalk developing these applications? It is not. So there are a lot of challenges that we need to take care of when we are developing these applications. So then, of course now, so the remaining part of the session, so we will be discussing about the sentiment analysis and the machine translation. We will be going into the details of, so two different applications. So I will start with the sentiment analysis. Yeah. So what is sentiment analysis? So analyzing the documents and understand whether the people opinion is towards the product or towards the thing or is against that. So analyzing that, we call it as a sentiment analysis. So whether the people opinion. So what is the opinion of the people participants here about this workshop, about my presentation? I would like to see that. Then what do? I collect the feedback. Is it not? Like you will be writing the text. And I need to read through every text you are writing and then I need to analyze that. So rather doing that, can we give it to our machine and the machine does the job? It would be wonderful, right? So that is where, of course, here the participants are just 50, then I can easily do it. But consider Amazon, so how many products are there and how many customers are reviewing it. Then how it can do it like manually. So if it has to do it manually, how much time it is possible? First of all, it's not feasible doing it manually. Then of course we have to rely on these automation systems. So that is what the sentiment analysis is. So it aims to identify the orientation of the people towards a product or towards something. So that's what the sentiment analysis is. And the sentiment analysis could be from text or it could be from speech also. So maybe you can use the speech data for extracting the opinion or the sentiment, or you can use a text. Typically we do it on the text, and that is how I restricted my presentation to the text. From text, how do we extract the sentiments? So that is what the objective is. And of course this can be referred to as opinion extraction, opinion mining, sentiment mining, and also the subjectivity analysis. So of course bottom you can see. So like depending on the text they are providing, the persons are providing, we are saying whether it's a positive sentiment or the negative sentiment. And of course I am showing some movie review examples. So typically when we go to watch a movie, what do? So we go for the quick reviews, is it not? So if the review is good, then only we go, otherwise we don't. So we are in that generation now. So then here I am just providing some of the reviews. Unbelievably disappointed. as a negative review, is it not? Yeah, full of zany characters and richly applied satire and some great plot twists. So it's a positive review. So that is how, if we look at a single review, it's okay. So we can easily understand it's positive or negative. And all the reviews will not be that simple. So as I already explained, what are all the challenges we have seen earlier, all the challenges comes into picture when we do the analysis, when we allow the model to do this. So then, how to do the automatic analysis? What is the motivation? Where do we use it? So I'm just quoting sentiment analysis, but we need to understand where and all we can use this, right? The motivation behind using the sentiment analysis. Of course, we can use it for the movies to understand whether people's opinion towards the movie is positive or negative. It is not new. So since the day online came into picture, people started giving reviews, right? And we can, the promotion, like the movie, what do you say, the finance people, they can use it for promotion activities. So that is where you can use it. And of course for product promotion. So maybe I am running an e-commerce application, so like Amazon or Myntra or Flipkart. So then they can make use of the reviews and they can understand. So the product is like everybody is giving it's a fake product. So I bought an iPhone in Amazon and every person is saying that it's something is damaged. Then the person can understand, Amazon people can understand that something is going wrong. Is it not? Otherwise how can they understand? So that is where like the people's opinion towards a product is positive or negative. Then they can maybe it's a business organization. So when people are having positive opinion towards a product, then they start production. They increase the production levels of the unit, a particular unit. So that is how they can use. And the public sentiment. So that is like maybe the government introduced one particular scheme. So maybe PM has introduced one scheme. Then what is the public opinion? So everybody is tweeting online, is it not? So then the tweet analysis can be done and can understand whether the scheme is going good or bad. So to understand public opinion also we can use it. And politics, of course. So I don't know how many of you are aware of this. So nowadays like the Twitter is playing a major role, social media is playing a major role in deciding, it actually became a deciding factor. So who is going to rule in the next government? So it already happened in USA in the case of the Trump, and in case of Biden also it happened, right? So it became a deciding factor. So in politics also it is used, and prediction. So maybe I would like to see like stock prediction. So whether I would like to purchase the stocks or not, so or gold price is increasing or decreasing, I would like to see. So in all these cases I can use a sentiment analysis. These are all different applications of sentiment analysis, motivation for that. So then why do I care really about others' opinion? I really don't need to bother about others' opinion, right? We people really don't care. Is it true? But maybe I would like to buy a product. I would like to buy a mobile phone online. Then immediately what do? I go and check the reviews of other people. So recently last year iPhone has released 15 version, 15 Pro, 15 Pro Max and 15 normal version. So then you can see if you check the online reviews, there are mixed opinions. So then based on the reviews only we are able to understand so how the product is. So then of course it is very important for us to understand what other people are thinking about the product or about anything. So that is where it is important. Then how can we consider others' opinion is, so before the introduction of web, what happens is we used to ask our friends. So while purchasing something, maybe before the introduction of the web, before the social media became so popular, so maybe when my father used to buy a TV, then what does he do? So he must have asked other people which brand is good. So he must have asked his friends or relatives, and then his close acquaintances and all, or the consumer reports, mostly the newspapers, through newspapers and all. So they used to use such kind of reports to get the understanding about the product. But post-web, that is after the introduction of the web, then they started using, like people started using blogs. So people started using, these products are good, like this shop is very good. Such kind of blogs they started, and the e-commerce websites, you can see, like you can straight away give the product reviews, and review sites itself are there. So if you observe Google Shop, so Google Shop is there, so which provides you, so if you click on a product, then it gives you the detailed review of the product. So it checks the reviews from entire website, all the websites, and then it gives the product review. So such kind of websites are also available, and not only that, the discussion forums. So all these together are providing a lot of information. When there is wealth of information, so can't I directly use it and then get the results? Is it really possible for me? Of course, the problem now is the data is a problem. So data is spent. We are getting a lot of data. Earlier, before the web, there was no data. So we used to ask friends and all, close acquaintances and all. So we used to get some information. But the problem now is we have wealth of information. Not wealth of information, it's like huge information, voluminous information. Then how do I process that? So how is it feasible for me to do the manual analysis of all this text? Is it possible? No, right? That's a problem. So overwhelming information, overwhelming amounts of information, that creates a lot of problem. It's difficult to analyze all these information that is available. So can't I, confine to one particular website? So when there is like, why do I need to care about different blogs, different reviews, different, why should I check Amazon or Flipkart or Myntra, different websites, why should I check? Why can't I confine to Amazon alone? So the problem is, there could be biased reviews. So when I confine to one particular review or one particular website, the reviews that are given could be biased. And you can see, merchants, they themselves will be providing the reviews. That's another problem. So these are the problems. That is why you better consider all the reviews, and doing it all manually is not feasible. So that is where we are relying on the sentiment analysis task, which is done automatically by the machines. So that is where we are into it, right? So that's the motivation behind the sentiment analysis. Why do we need to go for the sentiment analysis? And what are the categories of it? Of course, we understood what sentiment analysis is and why should we do it, we understood. And then, what are the different categories of the sentiment analysis? Of course, you can do it at different levels. And the simplest task, what you can understand is whether the attitude of the consumers is positive or negative. That's it I would like to see. That's the simplest task. Maybe you can extend that to the next level. That is where you are giving some ranking. Maybe 1 to 5 star rating you are giving, and among these rankings you are giving like compared to the simplest task like positive or negative, this is to the next complex level. And then maybe you can take it to the next level and can understand. So of course your opinion is positive, but in what aspects it is positive and in what aspects it is negative, you would like to understand that as well. So that is what the next level of sentiment analysis is. It could be done at different, different levels or different complexities. The simplest level or maybe a moderate level or at the advanced level. So maybe you can do that based on the document level, based on the sentence level, based on the phrase level, and based on the aspect level also. These are different levels or the categories of sentiment analysis. Document level, so if you see the document level, so what is it? What is the document level? So we are considering each and every document where the document contains, different sentences. So product reviews, when you give, you don't confine to one single phrase or single line, right? So usually the people also put restrictions on at least 200 words are required, something like that. So that will be useful for analyzing. So all the sentences in the document. So maybe here when I refer to the document, it means one particular review. So which is stored in one document. So it contains several sentences, and we don't look at individual sentence. Overall opinion of the people in a particular document, whether it is positive or negative, that's what I am looking for. So that kind of analysis, I call it as a document level sentiment analysis, because we are not going into every detail of it. So overall, the opinion of the person is positive or negative. That's enough for me. So that kind of analysis, we call it as a document level analysis, right? The document, every document I consider, document 1. So what are the different, maybe it could have multiple sentences, maybe somewhere there is something like negative also, but overall opinion is positive, right? And second document, if you see, it's a negative opinion, and the document, so on and so forth. If you consider all the documents, the last document is positive. So that's a document level sentiment analysis. Then the next level of sentiment analysis is sentence level sentiment analysis. So when I consider sentiment, if you observe this document level analysis, only it's binary, right? Positive or negative. We are not saying like this is the rating and all. It's a binary classification, simple task, right? Binary classification task only. And so if you consider, you cannot get any rating and all. So now the sentiment analysis. So what do we do in sentiment analysis? We take one particular document and every sentence we will be analyzing it. And for every sentence we are getting the label here. Whether the sentence is referring to the positive sentiment or the negative sentiment. So maybe while writing the reviews, I write something like, so about the iPhone, so the camera is good, but the weight is very high, like heavy it is, right? Especially iPhone 15. So that's a problem. So every sentence we are going to analyze, and that kind of analysis we call it as a sentence level analysis. And every sentence again it's binary only, but overall maybe you could give some rating. So these many positives are there, these many negatives are there, so I give this kind of rating. So that is how the sentence level sentiment analysis is. The next level is a phrase level. So in my entire document, so I look for the phrases which are related to the positive phrases. So the camera is awesome. So that phrase refers to the positive sentiment, right? So it's very heavy. So that's very heavy. That refers to the negative sentiment. So every phrase I like in the overall document, I don't care about the individual sentences. I don't care about the overall document also. What I care for is how many phrases are related to the positive, how many phrases are related to the negative sentiment. So again, I can get better analysis of that. And if you go to the next level, as aspect level. So what is the aspect level sentiment? How many overall, how many words are related to the positive, or not even words here, aspects. So whether it is speaking about the camera, whether it is speaking about the weight, whether it's speaking about the price, and so related to the price, is it positive or not? Maybe in the next slide I have better example. Yeah. Here you can see the sentence versus aspect level sentiment analysis. So in the sentence level analysis, I get the the opinion for every sentence, and of course I can take the average of it and I can give the rating for the overall document. That is fine. That's at the sentence level. But if you consider the aspect level, then what we are doing for every feature, that's what we call it as aspect, right? So in case of the mobile phone, so you can see zoom. So related to the zoom factor, how good it is. So iPhone is like very good in zoom. So that is why I am giving 5 rating based on the review, right? And based on the price, so I can give you 4 rating. Of course, your tool is doing that, not you are doing. You never said that, so like price is 4 rating and all. But based on your review, so it is generating all these details. That's what we call it as a aspect level sentiment analysis. Every aspect, that is every feature related to your mobile phone. So if you refer to that aspect, then so you are getting your model is analyzing such kind of your model is producing such kind of aspect level sentiment analysis, right? So and similarly picture quality and battery life, screen, so all the details, so it is giving. So that's what the difference between the sentence level analysis and the aspect level sentence analysis, sentiment analysis also. So in case of the aspect level sentiment analysis, it's much more difficult because we are not looking at every detail of it, like the overall detail of it. So we are going into minute level details also. So it's much more difficult. Yeah. The techniques that we can do for it. So of course, different levels. Then for different levels.
Before we go further with the techniques, can we take a deep break?
Yeah, sure.